Welcome to Asbury Theological Seminary. My name is Doug Matthews and I serve as the Provost here at Asbury. I love being Provost because nobody knows what the term Provost means. In Shakespeare, it means the commander of a military prison. Well, that's not what I do, but I do hope to release you someday as you walk across the stage and graduate. In Dan Brown's novel Inferno and subsequent movie, it's a leader of a secret organization that is known for assassinating people. Well, my role is simply the Chief Academic Officer with broad oversight of a very large area here at Asbury Seminary. I could list all of the associate provosts and deans and directors, but it's a pretty long list. But there are some 12 to 15 different areas that fall under the academic area. There are 5 academic schools. You'll be taking classes in all of them, including the Biblical Studies School, for example, where they have a very unique approach to studying Scripture. We also have programmatic areas such as the PhD program. I hope some of you are called back to do a PhD. We have the Beeson International Center for Preaching and Leadership, which houses the Doctor of Ministry program, and many pastors come from all over the world to participate in that program. Online programs are also in the academic area, and there probably won't be many of you that fail to take an online course, and we look forward to that type of academic instruction as we prepare you for ministry. We also have faculty development because we want our faculty to be cutting edge with what's going on in the world and what's going on with technology and pedagogy and andragogy. The good thing is we often have our own faculty leading in faculty development because we have some of the best world-class scholars in theology, biblical studies, every academic discipline. I'm also over the academic enterprise at our Florida campus. When I first came here, I was assigned to go down there every month. Well, somebody had to do that. But I love the folks in Florida, and you might want to take a class at Florida where we house the School of Urban Ministries. Again, I can't mention all of these different areas, but one important area recently is library instructional services. We've added something new. It's a Writing Center program, which we're really excited about. Yes, we want you to preach when you graduate and preach well, but if you look down through the pages of church history, or even look at John Wesley, so much of the impact of his ministry and the ministry of others, or even Mother Teresa, is because they did more than preach, they also wrote very well. Think of Wesley's writings to the plantation owners and the ship owners in dealing with slavery, or that beautifully articulated letter he wrote to William Wilberforce near the end of Wesley's life, encouraging him to press on and to fight for the abolition of slavery, which eventually did take place right near the end of Wilberforce's life. So we want you to write. We want you to engage with culture. We also house the chapel ministry. It may be a little different though. I had a buddy one time that was a chaplain, and he talked about chapel as an oasis from the classroom. It drove the faculty crazy because they felt that the classroom and the chapel went together hand in hand and heart to heart because both of them should be integrated. Augustine, Luther, Calvin, Wesley would probably roll over in their graves if they heard someone polarize chapel, worship, and the classroom. We believe they're integrated very well. Perhaps illustrated by Archbishop Temple, if you'll allow me to paraphrase a quote from him. He said, "Philosophers and theologians rule the world 500 years after they're dead." I think you can fill in the blank spaces there in terms of what we're doing here in a seminary that's an academy and a seminary that prepares people's hearts and minds for Christian service. Or, to quote Matthews, because nobody else does, if you really care about people, then you will really care about ideas. Ideas, as many have said, give birth to civilizations. They also end them. Terrorism is certainly a threat, but a greater threat is bad ideas, or a greater opportunity is good ideas. Bad ideas put people in breadlines or send them to Siberian death camps. Bad ideas impact the culture and impact families and break up families. And so here at Asbury, we want to combine head and heart as we go forth in ministry. When I was graduating from college up in the great state of Michigan, I had a grandfather on my mom's side of the family that was encouraging me to go to Asbury Theological Seminary. He even paid my application fee and encouraged me over and over again to go to Asbury. I ended up not going to Asbury Theological Seminary because my wife could not find a program that matched her interest and her passion and her zeal. But my grandfather gave me an index card. If you don't know what that is, ask your professor and they'll explain that to you. But he gave me an index card. And on that index card was a quote from John Wesley that explained why he wanted me to go to Asbury Theological Seminary. And Wesley made this great statement, you may have heard it. He said, "I'm not afraid that the people called Methodist should ever cease to exist, but I am afraid lest they should only exist as a dead sect, having the form of religion without the power." Wesley goes on to explain his fear. He was afraid that the people called Methodist, or the Methodist movement, would leave behind what he called doctrine, right beliefs, orthodox theology, Wesleyan theology, spirit, meaning radical transformation and heart, or discipline, meaning hand or right action. And he believed that if they remained faithful to those three areas, they would be a movement that would continue to transform the world. And if they didn't, they would become a dead sect. Well, I am so pleased to be part of a seminary where we are passionate for Scripture, for radical transformation in this life, and for taking that overflowing love for God and others out in the streets to make a difference. I would pray that God would pour out many blessings upon your life as you embark on this great journey at Asbury Theological Seminary. And remember one thing that a dean told my wife and I when we were starting our dual PhDs, which was quite a challenge fiscally as well as the workload that we had. She said, "Look, God will give you just enough light on the path for each day. Don't allow yourself to be consumed by everything that's going to unravel in your journey week after week and year after year as you move toward graduation." And then she quoted Scripture, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all your ways and He shall direct your paths." May God richly bless you on this journey, and do stop by the Provost office. We'll leave the light on for you.